Guess who's back? Back again, yeah. James is back. Yeah. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah. I'm back. I'm back with my video. I decided not to do the daily thing just because, don't know. I was streaming for a while on Twitch. Haven't done that in a while either. I don't know. I've just been doing nothing really. But I thought I'd make a video. Talking about the Premier League. Yeah, we got the Premier League back. I can't wait. I will be probably making a follow-up video about the NBA and about that coming back. That one will be a bit more researched, I think. This is just sort of off the cuff because I sort of know a bit more about the Premier League than the NBA. But I'll be talking about the playoff situation and how they're going to play, the teams that are going to be involved, etc, etc. But this is going to be a video just talking about the Premier League action. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, of course, there has been some stuff going on out there, some really horrible stuff towards black people, with police injustice, a lot of police doing stuff that's wrong, that's making a lot of other police targets. So there are, there are a lot of the police force have not got a good name right now, and there are genuinely good people who are there to serve and protect, and these horrible people giving them a bad name, and they're killing innocent men and women every day because of the colour of their skin, and it's horrible. So on a serious note, try to be more kind to your fellow man, fellow woman, no matter what their skin colour is. It doesn't matter. We all bleed red. We all breathe the same air. We're all the same. We're all the same, and it's silly that people are losing their lives because of it. But that's the seriousness out of the way. Just wanted to acknowledge it, put it out into the ether, try to be a bit more kind to each other, and yeah, that's it. But let's get back into the football. I believe the teams that have a game behind are City, Arsenal, Sheffield United, and Aston Villa. I believe they're on 38 games played, so maybe they're the first 4 games played. I'm not quite sure if that's how it's going to work, but I think that's how it's going to work. But I'm really excited, of course, and I'm sure many of you are excited as well for the return of the Premier League. The question is, of course, we've had a taster of this. I've made a video about the return of the Bundesliga. I haven't made a video since the Bundesliga has been open. I've been watching it, enjoying it, and we got sort of a taster to see what a long break from a season, just heading straight back into football, is like. Players do return, of course, who may not have returned before the end of the season. Man United likely to get Paul Pogba back with Bruno Fernandes. That's a bit tasty for us Man United fans. But the way it seemed is the intensity will still be there. Of course, the crowd will not be there. There will be an option though on BT Sports and I believe Sky Sports, where you'll have an option to turn on crowd noise if you so wish to have that in the background. I know it's not the same, but I've seen a lot of people talk about football without crowds, and about how it's just, there's no point in watching it. What do you mean there's no point in watching it? Are you saying that, whenever you're playing football, you're watching kids play football, whatever. You know, there's no point in that sounds really weird, but if you're watching a game of football with amateurs that don't have a crowd, are you saying if they played at a Premier League level, despite not having anyone around, you wouldn't watch it? You'd be captivated by the football. You don't need the crowd for the football. The crowd is the almost the reward for footballers and them being so good at what they do. It's an incredibly luxurious bonus to the game, but I don't think it is the be all and end all of the game. You know, when England was playing against Bulgaria, of course racism going on in the Bulgarian stadium. I believe it was or maybe there was Bulgarians in the England stadium in Wembley. I can't quite remember what way round it was, but I think they were in England. And oh no, it wasn't Bulgaria, because Bulgaria, they had problems there. I believe it might have been Bulgaria. There was a game there was a game where they played a European side, and it was an empty stadium because of people who unfortunately couldn't behave themselves in a proper fashion and was saying racist stuff from the crowd. And it was in an empty stadium. And are you telling me you didn't watch the game because there was no crowd? No, of course you watched the game. It's England. It's the same. It's Man United are playing. Man City are playing. Arguably the best team in the world. Liverpool will be playing. The crowd's not there. It's awful. And it definitely takes something away. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's still a fine product. It's still, you know, the greatest spectacle in sport, arguably. The Premier League. It's up there with the biggest boxing events, with the NBA, with the NFL, you know, with these top spectacles, with the Olympics. It's it's one of the top spectacles in the world, the Premier League. You know, the be all and end all of football. And it's going to return, and a lot of people are going to be excited. I'm definitely excited. I'm excited to see what teams do well, what teams don't do well after the break. It depends how much they prepare, really. I know a lot of teams have had games within each other, such as Tottenham had a game against Tottenham. I believe Arsenal did. Man United has had one. There's been a few. So that's what they're doing to prepare. But I'd have a lot of behind closed doors games that against championship sides. And I believe it was Mark Goldbridge that I heard talk about that, and they should do that. I thought it was a fantastic idea, because I feel like it's enough of a competition of level where you think, okay, we'll get a game out of this. And the championship, if you're a championship side and you're facing Man United, you know, if you're West Brom, they're probably promoted. Fulham, if you're Fulham and you're looking at the promotion playoff picture, right, and you go and play Arsenal, then you go and play Liverpool, then you go and play these top teams. Then when the season starts and you're playing against Luton, Middlesbrough, you know, the level is not quite as there, and you're a bit more prepared for it. And you know, for the benefit for those teams in the Premier League is you get a high enough competition where you don't need to travel, you know, and you get a good game, and you can try the squad out in many different ways to see who's been playing well to who you're going to pick. But I'm excited for like I said earlier, Pogba returning, and Bruno. The midfield I want to see is Scott McTominay or Matic holding the play, just being like the first wall of defence behind the defence, and just let Bruno and Pogba do what the fuck they want in midfield, really. Just let them run the show and give the ball out to Martial, to Rashford, to Greenwood, to whoever's attacking, and just let them just run the show. That's going to be very exciting. I've seen a lot of talk about Donny van de Beek possibly joining. I don't see it. Would I like him to join? Yeah. I feel like that it might ruffle a few feathers though, because it will take away a lot of game time. And perhaps it's a position we possibly don't need. But when you're talking about Donny van de Beek, you're talking about a talent that's world-class future prospect and already very good right now. So it's not something you just pass up on. But, you know, it's just... if he was a holding midfielder more, which he could definitely do that role, but he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. And we've already got Fred, who's played really well in that type of position, and Paul Pogba, who does do a similar sort of role, and Bruno Fernandes can play a bit deeper if he needs to play a box to box. So we have players that can do that role, but you just wouldn't pass up on that. You just wouldn't. I still feel we need a holding midfielder. I think we're getting Jadon. I'm not saying really sure. I'm hoping we get Jadon Sancho is going to be an incredible addition if we get him. So that for Man United, I'm looking towards next season, and this season finishing top 4 will be incredible. Get that Champions League football to attract bigger names to the club and show progression, and think, wow, Bruno came in and changed the system. Well, let's add loads of other top talent and they can change the system as well. They can change the quality as well. Maybe I can come in and I can change Man United with Bruno and become a legend at one of the biggest clubs in the world, which I think in Champions League football will be an incredible feat for a team like us. But that's Man United. We look at other teams. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea looking to get Timo Werner in. Oh, Timo Werner. Now, that would be an incredible signing for Chelsea. I would applaud that signing. If they were able to get Timo Werner from under the noses of Liverpool, they would have pulled, in my mind, one of the biggest coups of the summer transfer window. It would be phenomenal. Just phenomenal, because you need a bit of, I'd say, depth in the wings. You've got some very older type wingers, Pedro, Willian, who perhaps one of them could go and you might want a younger name in. You've got Christian Pulisic, you've got Hudson-Odoi, been in the news lately of some pretty bad stuff, so perhaps I don't want to talk about him as much. But he's definitely a player that would be ready to come in and do a job. But I feel you perhaps need to offload Pedro or Willian, and you need to get maybe a bigger name at right wing. Someone who can come in and really support Timo Werner. If you're Chelsea, you are looking at Jadon Sancho as well. There's other names you could possibly throw in the hat. I'll tell you what, that Paulinho from Bayern Leverkusen, he looked really good. Really good. He could be a player they could look at. Maybe Bellarabi, maybe even Leon Bailey. You play him right wing, or you play him left wing and you play Pulisic right wing, because Pulisic can play right wing if you need him to. He's got that in his locker. So you get a big player like Timo Werner, you get a good winger with him, and you're laughing, I think the biggest problem with Chelsea, though, in my opinion, is that they're playing Jorginho in... I feel like Jorginho is the biggest crux in that team, because he plays in such a deep role that you're playing Kante in central midfield when you need him in that hole. You need him in that hole. He's the player that I would... If I could just snatch any player... I mean, we've snatched players from Chelsea. Mata, give us. Matic... You know, as long as you got Matt in your name, we've transferred him over. We've got Chelsea players in the past, but the one player I would just adore to have would be Kante. He would be the perfect fit. He would run that midfield defensively, and then you get Mateo Kovacic and you play Mason Mount or whoever in midfield, and you let them just do whatever. You let them do whatever. You perhaps I would say get rid of Jorginho. Get a quality midfielder. You know who'd be quality for them? Donny van der Beek. If Chelsea got Donny van der Beek, they'd be sorted. Could you imagine, right? Let's say they spend 100 million ish, right? 100 million. And they get, say they don't get a winger, alright? So they still got options and they still got a good attack. Say they play Willian on the right, Pulisic on the left, Werner up top. Then you got a defensive midfield. You got Donny van der Beek. You've got Kovacic. You got Kante behind, and then you got Rudiger. You've got Zuma or Tomori, Azpilicueta on the right, Alonso on the left, or Reece James on the right, and then Kepa in goal. Yeah, that's instantly. It's not a title winner. I'm not going to say it's a title winner. I'm not that stupid, but it's a contender. You'd be stupid to say that's not a contender with the amount of quality in that side and the way they play. It would just suit them. So Chelsea are looking up. So I'm interested to see what they do in the summer. Liverpool just need to keep doing what they're doing. You can't fault Liverpool at the moment, what they're doing. Just keep your head on, keep your head tunnel vision, like what the horses have. You know, look ahead and don't look anywhere else. Just look forward if you're Liverpool, because you've got magic there right now. You want to just add little bits to it. You know, you want to add, maybe a quality player here and there. And maybe you could have done with a Timo Werner. Maybe you could do with an extra centre back. If you had a Koulibaly or someone next to Van Dijk, that'd be quality. But you would want to risk that, upsetting the other players. So what, Joe Gomez to come in, maybe you get a new striker to back up Firmino. Maybe you get Jamie Vardy. He'd be a quality player for them. Mate, there's plenty of other things you could do, but the one thing I'd do is just keep going, don't falter, keep your attitude as it is. City. I feel like what City need to do is... I feel like this could be completely false, but I feel like they buy on a whim. Oh, he's a good name, we'll get him, he's good, he can do the job, he can do it. If I was City, I'd be looking at a target that there's no one that you go, okay, that's a City target. City are after that player. I feel like they need targets. Gabriel Jesus, fantastic striker. Sergio Aguero, fantastic striker, getting on a bit. Maybe you think, right, what's the next generation from that? Maybe it's Jesus, and maybe you get a player to back up Jesus. They've bought so many fullbacks that haven't worked, and you've out of the Champions League for 2 years. For what? For Cancelo, who's underperformed, Mendy, injury prone. It's just it's crazy. So I'd say get a clear target, and centre backs. That's the position they need, centre backs. Maybe you need to get an Upamecano to come in, because Laporte, Fernandinho does a job, but Laporte, if you Laporte's and Otamendi are quality centre backs, but you need another one. If you're City, you need another. If you're looking at if you're Man United, and this is going to really piss off Man United fans hearing this, but I'm not fucking stupid as a United fan. If you're a United fan,
you have a player like Otamendi and a player like Laporte. I'm happy. You don't. We've got so many areas that we need to plug up. City have the luxury of going, we've got quality ones, but to take us to that next level, we need another one to come in, because John Stones ain't doing that for you at the moment. You've had to bring in Fernandinho. You shit yourself once Otamendi was injured. Laporte, sorry, or was it both? It might have been both. Was injured. And if it wasn't, what if both get injured? You know, you're fucked. You're meant to be title challengers. You're already at the Champions League. Be smart with your investment. I'm trying to go through the top teams first, so I know what to do. Arsenal are a tricky one, but you know what? I say with Arsenal, stick with Arteta. See what he does. He seems to have a bit of an idea. Maybe invest in some better scouting. Get some real good players in. They've got some good players in. They've got players like Guendouzi who's come in. Aubameyang and Lacazette were incredible signings. But I feel like they've got a lot of incredible players in that side. Like a Lacazette, like an Aubameyang, like a Socrates on his day. I think he can be quality. You know, I'm trying to think, like an Ozil. You got players who are quality, but I feel like there's a lot of holes in that team where they lack quality. You need to sort of even it out. It's almost like you've got a piece of toast and you've buttered your toast and and the butter's there, and you've got the Marmite, but there's like massive amounts of patches of Marmite on one area of the toast, and one area is barely touched with Marmite. You know, it's a bit. Yeah, it's like that. It's a weird analogy, but just I think I've explained it pretty well. That in my mind is what Arsenal are lacking. So we've done United, a lot of United, Liverpool, Chelsea, a lot of Chelsea, Arsenal, City. We just run through the other teams. Newcastle's pretty popular in this channel. Newcastle, I'd wait. You're doing all right. I'd say get through this season and see what the takeover plans are like. If that's still going through, I've not heard anything about it in ages. So if that falls through, then you might want to look at just strengthening your team in areas you need. Maybe get another striker, because Joel Linton's shit. To put it bluntly, get another striker in. Look in the free agents market. See what you can get. Someone like a I don't know who's a free agent. I did a video about free agents that are free. Just look to get bargains. If that's full, if it doesn't go through, then I've already made a video of the infrastructure and that. Just go back and watch that video. West Ham. I feel like you need to this season try and hold on for dear life. If you get relegated, you're fucked. So don't get relegated. I know that's easier said than done, but that is the only thing you can just say right now. And for next season, fucking just fire whoever's been making your transfers the last couple windows. I'm interested to see what Jared Bowen does. He looks alright, but fuck me, when you brought in Roberto, I was like, Jesus Christ. You know what? Grady Diangana, when he comes back, give him game time. He looks real good. He looks special. He looks really comfortable at a top level. And I know that's the Championship, but we're talking about a team that's dominated most of the Championship with Leeds, and he's been one of the big names in that. So when he comes back, play him. Don't let him go. Play him. Okay, I'd play him over Antonio. I'd put Antonio at right back, and I'd say just play right back, Antonio. You're fantastic at right back. Just play there, or play him up front. Just leave that right wing area for Yarmolenko and Diangana to intertwine in between, and then have that left side be Felipe Anderson and, you know, whoever you're playing there, Lanzini, Fornals. Yeah, and get do you know what? Get an identity, because a lot of West Ham it doesn't feel like they have an identity. They're in a very transitional period, it looks like. I mean, unless the strategy is to go with David Moyes and just see what happens, then fucking fair. You know, good luck. I hope you make it out of the Championship, because you will struggle real bad. He will not keep you in this league forever. You need an identity. You need a man to come in at the helm who will steady the ship and bring you forward. You know, maybe you look at a young manager from the Bundesliga who's doing well, like a Nagelsmann or whatever. I know it's a tough name to get in, because he's managing. Is it Nagelsmann? RB Leipzig, I believe so. But you get a name like that who's doing well in a team like that, because a lot of managers in the Bundesliga who are doing really well. Maybe David Wagner. Maybe you give him a shot. You know, he's not done so well at Schalke, but at Huddersfield he was fantastic. Schalke are cursed, though. I fully believe Schalke are cursed. But that's what I'd do for West Ham. Get an identity and play Diangana. Watford, I'd stick with Pearson. You know, Pearson's he's underrated, I think, and you know, the problem with Watford is they keep chopping and changing managers, and they for some reason bring in these incredible South American wonder kids. They brought in a João player. Is it João Pedro? A Brazilian striker. They brought in Richarlison out of nowhere. He's a quality player. They've got players like Alberto Peñaranda, who's been in the system for ages. That Juan Carlos Hernandez, who I believe is playing for Mallorca on loan. They got players like that on loan all the time, just playing top football. You know, but they keep firing their manager, and eventually those players get sold because a manager won't like him or won't want to give him the opportunity, because that's the problem. You got a lot of young players who are ready to burst through into that first team position, but you got a lot of managers who are coming in and going, and they're thinking, right, I need to get results now. I can't play these kids. I can't play Domingos Quina. I can't play him consistently, because if I play him and he's not ready, I'm gonna get fired. So Watford have shot themselves in the foot. They need to fuck Pearson off, and if they have a man in mind that's our man for the future, we're going to stick with this guy through thick and thin. Okay, he's going to be the one to take us forward. Or you stick with Pearson. You stick with him. You give him a fucking chance, because otherwise you're just going to be in the same limbo of underperformance. So Watford. I don't want to go through every team, because a lot of teams might get relegated. You know, your Bournemouths, your Villas. All right, if you're Villa, Norwich. This applies for Villa, Norwich, Bournemouth, and Brighton, because I've already covered West Ham and Watford. All you teams, fight. You need to fight. This is it. This is it. Next season, you're in the Championship. You know, we don't know what type of finances you're going to get in a COVID market. So fight with everything to stay in this league. You know, treat every game like it's a cup final, which is, you know, what every team will do, but that's honestly just what they need to do. And then if they do make it into the next season, into the Premier League, whatever one of these teams do, invest in the areas you need. For example, Brighton desperately need a striker. Glenn Murray's way too old. Neil Maupay has not done enough, so you need a player to come in to perhaps ease the load off Maupay, so he can come in and he can do bits off the bench. You know, send Aaron Connolly on loan. He looks like a quality player, but send him on loan. Send him to a championship side. Give him that experience. Bournemouth's difficult because Eddie Howe's a genius. He's got his ways of dealing with that side. It's just, you know, they're in the lower half of the league this season, so maybe add some quality, I'd say. You got a lot of Dan Goslings, a lot of Lewis Cooks, Steve Cooks. You know, you got a lot of players who are like, yeah, you know, yeah, get a star man in. Get a player that you think, wow, okay, that's quality. It was like the high point Jack Grealish came in on loan. It was like, wow, Jack Grealish. But, you know, that was a while ago, and that was on loan. Get a man in that you think, wow, I can't believe he's playing for our club. You know, like a top quality player, which is harder said than done. But you know, you need that quality. I think maybe to provide for a player like Callum Wilson. Maybe you need to forget about. Maybe you need to extend your stadium, because the stadium is so small. It doesn't look like a Premier League stadium. It doesn't feel like a Premier League stadium. Maybe you need to extend it to like, what is it, 17,000? Something, I don't know what the actual number is, but it's very small. So extend that to 25,000-ish if you can. Invest in the club. Expand. Burnley, keep doing what they're doing. Wolves, the same. Norwich. Yeah, I think you're fucked. If I'm honest, when you get relegated, I think when you get in the Championship, invest in good Championship quality players that will help you get promoted, and then when you get to the Premier League, invest in quality players, because you've got players that can do well. Keep a hold of Jamal Lewis and Max Aarons and players like that who will do stuff in the Championship for you. Everton, keep doing what you're doing. Carlo Ancelotti, top bloke. Invest in quality players that will make Everton feel like a club like Leicester. Leicester, stop losing in the later half of the season. You know, you didn't bottle it in the Premier League winning season. You're bottling it now, and you might not get top four if you keep on with your form. You just lost to Norwich. This break could be an incredible thing for you. Stop football. Let's just reset our minds. Let's get back in the season. Let's finish top four. If you're Leicester, if you're a Leicester fan. And next season, same thing with Everton. I think maybe invest in a quality player. Invest in a player that perhaps a team like Man United or Liverpool will be looking at, just to make some intent, you know, a bit of quality. But make him a Brendan Rodgers man. You don't want to have a situation where you're Brendan Rodgers, you get Balotelli in for Liverpool, and you didn't want him. Do you remember that? Balotelli used to play for Liverpool. Crazy world, eh? Crazy world. Villa. When you lose Jack Grealish, because you're going to lose Jack Grealish, invest the money in players that will improve the team. Because I could see you keeping a hold of John McGinn, who's a quality player. I really rate John McGinn. Invest in players around him. Maybe improve your wing positions. You know, maybe El Ghazi and Trezeguet aren't quite good enough for the Premier League. Maybe get players that are. Maybe you want to look at a Pedro or a Willian from Chelsea and think, you know, are they for sale? Do we get that type of player in who's a Premier League ready player. Maybe you need to add more depth in midfield, attacking wise. Maybe you need like a Tadic type player, a Ziyech type player. Not that level, of course, because it's going to be difficult for Villa to get that level, but that type of player, the creative midfielder who can string balls, what Jack Grealish is doing right now. Get a good replacement and get some more players in that will help in other positions. Villa was the other team I was forgetting in the relegation teams. So we've covered that. I know there's teams we're not covering. Southampton, keep doing what you're doing. Danny Ings is banging. Keep him. I'm glad he's doing well again. After his Liverpool fiasco, he's doing amazing at Burnley. Joined Liverpool, really stagnated. Injuries hampered him. Come to Southampton. Shit it at first, and he's really hit the ground. Well, he's not hit the ground running, has he? He's picked it up massively. So fair play to him, Hassan Tuchel. You know, they were really struggling earlier in the season. They had that massive loss against Leicester, but they're picking up. They're picking up. They don't look like the shit show they were before. Palace. I don't know about Palace. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't paid much attention to Palace. Keep Zaha, and if you don't keep Zaha, invest in your attacking line. Invest in a good winger, a good striker. Jordan Ayew's good, but get another player in that can come in and give him some real competition. Maybe get some more centre backs to come in. Yeah, maybe some defenders. I'm trying to think. Let me just get up. FIFA. Because I was playing FIFA, just in case I'm forgetting teams. I think I've near enough covered them all. I haven't covered Spurs. All Spurs. Spurs are on a last note. Depth. Especially in the striking position. I know Harry Kane's your man. Give Troy Parrott minutes. When he was injured, because he hadn't had minutes, Mourinho weren't comfortable putting him in. Get quality strikers or give Parrott minutes. And if you get another striker to come in and alleviate some of the pressure off of Kane, send Parrott on loan. Same situation as Connolly, even more so with Parrott. You know, send him to a top team who's looking to get promoted, and if he gets 20 goals a season, his stock instantly rises and you feel a bit better about playing him a bit more. And maybe perhaps invest in your defence a bit more. You look at your left back position. Danny Rose, he's gone on loan to Newcastle. You got Ben Davies at left back, and I don't know who else you got at left back, if I'm honest. Right back, you've got Aurier, Walker-Peters coming in. He was on loan at Southampton as well. Your centre back positions, you know, you got Alderweireld, you got Sanchez, you got Vertonghen, Foyth. So you're all right there. Yeah, just maybe a bit of depth everywhere else. You got Lo Celso in permanently now. That's good. Ndombele, he's in. That's good. Sissoko, Ali, you know, you got players that are quality, fantastic. Maybe you want to add another superstar signing, because ever since you lost Christian Eriksen, you've lost a top quality player, but you've not gained anything from it. You've not gained anyone to come in. I'm so glad you didn't do this. If you got Bruno Fernandes in, you would have been quality. But we've got him. We've got Bruno. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that we got Bruno. I love it.